F.
Welcome to today's class. Today we'll be discussing the cumulative frequency curve as a subtopic under the topic presentation of data. It's how to present data. So what do we call the cumulative frequency curve? The cumulative frequency curve is also called the ogive. It is the graph of cumulative frequency against the upper class boundary. And when we say ogive, when we say cumulative frequency curve, they remain the same. You can use them synonymously. Alright, so let's take one example. Don't forget, the ogive is a plot of the cumulative frequency against the upper class boundary. Alright, so taking one example, it says the table below shows the height of 200 people who were randomly picked. Now you are given the height in centimeters and the frequency. The heights are given in terms of class intervals. So of course you know this is a group data. The values of the height has been grouped. Okay, so we are told to construct a distribution for the above table and also construct a cumulative frequency curve. Now you are not new to this. To construct a distribution table, you need the class interval, the frequency. Now, and that is what we have in this table under the solution. Now, but to construct a curve, a cumulative frequency curve, you need the class boundary and also you need the cumulative frequency. Now, the issue here is how to cumulate our frequencies. Note that the first frequency is same thing as the first cumulative frequency. You can see that. So just transfer the 5 under the frequency to the 5 under the cumulative frequency. And you say this 5 plus this 18 gives 23. That's cumulating. So you are accumulating already. So 5 plus 18 gives 23. Then 23 here plus 50 gives what? 73. 73 plus 29 gives 102. 102 plus 80 gives 182. 182 plus 1 plus 14 gives 196. And 196 plus 4 gives 200. Now if you are correct, you will see that the last value here under the cumulative frequency is the same as the total number of people in the question.
Normal scroll doc start.
So since we have 200,
Ringtone volume.
Since we have 200 people, then it means we have the total number here as 200. Can you see that? Okay. Now let's talk about the cumulative frequency curve. How then do we plot it? Again, I said the cumulative frequency curve is a plot of what? Cumulative frequency against the upper class boundary. Now you plot the upper class, you have to arrange the upper class boundary here. Don't forget that getting the class boundary has to be done with the class interval by subtracting 0.5 from the lower class limit and adding 0.5 to the upper class limit. So since we only need the upper class boundary, we don't need to also list the lower class boundary, so as to save time. So just transfer this here. The upper class boundary for the first class is what? 149.5. So you just transfer there. The upper class boundary for the next class interval is 154.5. So just transfer that here and only enlist the upper class boundary. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to plot the ogive. So the first thing you need to do here is to draw a vertical line and you name it cumulative frequency using the graph sheet, not a plain sheet or a ruled note. No, a graph sheet will solve this correctly. So you rule a vertical line, name it cumulative frequency. Then you also rule a horizontal line and name it what? The upper class boundary. Okay. Now don't forget that in your cumulative frequency, the least value is 5 and the largest value is 200. Of course, we choose a reasonable scale that will contain these values. Therefore, I chose 0 to 20 to 40. Understand? So I chose a scale of 20 units represent, or 2 centimeters represent 20 units on the vertical scale. So that I will have 200 as the last. Do you understand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 12 space in the vertical axis of your graph. so you can just use 10 of them or 11 of them. You get that? Now that's for that. Then for the horizontal scale, just transfer what you have. I have 149.5 to 179.5. Transfer it exactly the same, exactly the way you saw it. So I wrote 149.5, 145, 154.5, etc. up to this. Now we are done. You plot. You can see we are going to plot 5 against 149.5. Now, if my big boxes here are 20 units to 2 centimeter, in a 2 centimeter box I have 10 small boxes. So between 0 and 20 I have 10 small boxes. So how do I get the value of a single tiny box? Now I will say 20 over 10, that gives me 2. So if a tiny box is 2, 2 times 10 boxes gives me 20. Alright, so how do I get 5? I mean, I have to pick what? A tiny box, that is 2, and another tiny box, that's 4. Then I'll pick a half of the next box, that is what? 1, to give me 1 plus 4, 5. So to get 5, I'll choose 2 tiny boxes plus a half of 1 box on the vertical axis to get 5. And I plot 5 against 149.5. So that gives me the point there. For the next point, I'm going to plot what? I'm going to plot on the vertical axis, I will be plotting 23 to 154.5. Okay, so how do I get that? It means after 20, I'll choose, I need 23. One box will give me 22, then a half box will give me 1, so that is, so I'll have to pick 1.5 boxes after 20 to give me 23. Then I'll plot that against 154.5. Can you see that? Can you see that? Then you mark there. The next point is 73 against 159.5. 73 should be after 60. Okay, I'll count 5 boxes, that gives me 70, because 5 boxes gives me 10, that's 70. Now I need 73, then I will now take 1.5 boxes more. So invariably I'm picking what? 6.5 boxes after 60 to give me 73. You do that for everything and you plot against the upper class boundaries. We're going to plot 73 against 159, you plot 102 against 164, 182 against 169, 196 against this, etc. And we are done. You get a nice plot like this. Now you can see this one was done with computer, but when you do your own, you're going to use your hand. So I don't want this straight line. It should be a curve, a perfect curve. So you draw your curve, and you can use the broom or use a freehand sketching, which is the best approach and faster actually. Yeah, so this is evaluation, to do the evaluation and the reading assignment and also the weekend assignment. I hope the class is clear. Do have a nice time. Thank you.